Today's collage lab is going to be a creativity exercise using cut up pieces of interesting pattern and textured paper, glue, scissors, and a Sharpie marker. So when you get your paper, the first thing you always should do is to write your name on the corner of your paper with a pencil. That way, if you mess up and want to use the other side, you can just erase your name and put it on the other side. So put your name on the corner. Then make sure you flip your paper over so that your name is on the back of your paper. Then you're going to look through the interesting paper basket and pick a few that you like. I would like you to pick at least 3, but you can pick more than that if you want. So I picked a few, and I might not end up using all of them, and that's okay. So I'm going to set these aside, and now we're going to decide where we're going to glue it. So at this step, I don't want you to really think about what these are going to be. Just kind of glue them wherever you feel like gluing it on. If you want to overlap some of them, that's okay too. I think I'll leave this one aside for now. So now once you decide where you want to glue your pieces, you're going to take your glue. The 3 kinds of glue we have are stick glue, watered down brush on white glue, and white glue in a bottle. So we'll review how to use these. For stick glue, you just take the cap off and you twist it so that only a little bit is coming out of the tube. If you get a bunch out, it might break or smear everywhere. With your stick glue, you can flip your paper over and make sure you put the glue all around the edge. Flip it over and glue it on. Make sure you press down on all edges so that it sticks down all the way so that nothing is peeling or hanging off. When you're finished with stick glue, make sure you twist it so that there's no glue coming out. And make sure you put the top on right away so that it doesn't dry out and so that you don't lose that glue cap. For brush on glue, you're just going to open it. Get one of the paintbrushes out of there. Flip your paper over and just brush it on. It's important to get the edges. Make sure you put the glue brush back in the container right away. Flip it over and press it down until it sticks. Again, make sure there's no floppy pieces on the corners or edges. When you're done with brush on glue, make sure to close the container. If you choose to use bottle glue, then you're going to twist that orange part up. Peel off the crusty bits on the top with your finger or a paper towel. Don't ever stick anything down there because it will break that tip, and also it's dangerous because you might slip and scratch yourself. You might have to shake it a few times. And one way to use bottle glue is by doing dot, dot, not a lot. That's just making dots of glue around the edges. And flip it over and press down. Again, same thing, make sure the edges are not floppy and coming off. Another way to use bottle glue is by doing a snail trail. A snail trail is pressing down on the bottle lightly, making sure that the orange part on the top is touching your paper and drawing a very skinny line all around the edge of the paper. And press it down. And one thing you don't want to do with bottle glue is to pour the paint from up high. That's how you get big puddles and big messes. So never do that. Dot, dot, not a lot. Or a very skinny snail trail around the edge. With bottle glue, when you're finished, make sure that you twist the top so that there's no gap between the base of the cap and the actual top. I only did dot, dot, not a lot, and a skinny snail trail, so there's very little white glue showing on my project. If there's a lot of glue coming from under your paper, that means that you use too much glue, and next time you want to make your dots smaller, or you'll want to use a skinny snail trail. Now that we have some shapes, we're going to start to add some things to them using a Sharpie marker. So you're going to decide what each of these things could be. Maybe on this one, this is kind of looking like a house. So maybe I'll draw the other side of this triangle. Maybe I'll add some patterns to the roof. So I use my imagination to change these shapes into a house. Now for this one here, maybe I'll turn this into a shirt for a little character. How about a kitty character? So now I have a little kitty wearing kind of like a flowery dress. How about this one? Oh, you know what? I think I want to turn this into... See what you can guess what I'm doing. I turned it into a little flower pot. How about over here? I think I want that to be a sun in the sky. So I know that a sun is not a square, but how about if I add a circle like this? Then what if he had sunglasses? And now he's a sun behind the kitty character. Now, how about if I drew a horizon line? That's the line that separates the sky and the ground. And how about if I added a chimney? Designs inside of my windows. And I could even add extra designs. So now I use my imagination to turn all of these different shapes into different parts of my collage drawing. Now in this example, I kind of made a whole picture where the kitty and the flower are in the foreground, that's in the front, and the house and the sun in the background, that's in the back. Now I'm going to show you another example that you could do where it's not one finished picture like I did in my first example, but instead you're making many small pictures. So first I'm going to pick out some smaller shapes so that there's a lot more gaps in between. So if you're going to do it this way, you'll probably want to pick out only 3 or 4 shapes to make sure that you have enough space in between. So I picked out my shapes and now I'm going to glue it on. And now I'm going to do the same thing as my first example, but instead of making one finished picture, I'm just going to draw 3 separate pictures. So maybe I want to turn this one into a bunny character. And then I'll turn this one into a puppy character. And then this one, how about into a giraffe character? So now I have 3 characters, and now I can design some clothes onto them. How about if he had some pants and a shirt, and she had a dress. And then you can also use up your empty spaces by adding some designs. By cutting up some more pattern paper and gluing them on in the empty space. Okay, so now I have my collage with my drawings, and I added some designs with more collage in the background. So here are my 2 examples. You can do it either way you want. You can either turn your shapes into one finished drawing with the foreground things in the front and the background things in the back, or you could just make 3 separate collage and drawings and add background with some more collage in the back. When you're finished, these projects have glue on it. We don't want it to get stuck to other people's projects or anything else, so these go in the drawing rack. Your scrap paper, if it's all the way used up like this one, you can put it in the recycle bin. If there are pieces that you can still use like this one, then don't wrinkle it up, because then we can't use it anymore. Please keep it flat and put it right back in your paper bin. Make sure stick glue cap is on and closed. Make sure your brush on glue has the brushes back in and the top is closed. Make sure you twist the bottle glue so that there's no gap in between so that the glue doesn't dry out. And put all of your supplies back where they're supposed to go.